I don't take back my words.
I'll have to remember that.
It's not like this is gonna make it into the cut, right?
Welcome to Slightly Amusing. My name is Ryan. I'm joined by the illustrious Cody, who never takes back anything he says.
Yep. I'm a man of truth, and I stand behind that.
I don't know if it's necessarily truth. Could be something else, though. So welcome. We're happy you're here listening to us. Just a reminder that you can watch this on YouTube under my YouTube channel, RJFoxtrot. You can also listen to it on Spotify by searching for Slightly Amusing. Also be sure to follow Cody, also known as Buglies, on his YouTube channel and on his Twitch channel, which are both the same. I also tend to stream sometimes. I'm also on there as RJFoxtrot. Alright, so the big topic of this podcast they're going to be discussing is Pokémon Legends Arceus, which came out, I believe, last Friday. And we both played it. I think I've played it more than Cody has, which is shocking because he definitely likes Pokemon more than I like it.
I'm just a busy man, bro. What can I say?
He is a very busy man. So I just kind of want to spend some time, give some like thoughts on it, some pros and cons that I had. I put together a list, not a very long list, just I put up bullet points of things I liked about the game, things that I think it could get worked on. I'll just say this out the gate. I really enjoy the game. It's a lot of fun for me. Really, I don't necessarily want to go so far as say it reinvents Pokemon, but I think it gives it the update that it needed.
It definitely puts the open world spin on it that we were really hoping would work, and I feel it does.
I think so too. I think it does too for the most part. I'll say this first too because I found this out as well. Pokemon Legends Arceus is the second fastest Switch game ever sold in Japan, which is I think pretty impressive. It sold in the first 3 days 1.43 million physical copies.
Do you have anything on digital sales?
No, I don't. It just Japan just released the physical sales.
Alrighty.
But the only other game that has beaten it was Animal Crossing's New Horizons, who had a staggering 1.83 million in the first 3 days. So it's kind of crazy to think about. That thing literally sold 400,000 more physical copies in the first 3 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but good job for Pokemon. And then also, I also saw this, I guess, Brilliant Diamond. I don't know if it's a combination of both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but I saw that it is the 9th highest selling Switch game of all time at this point. I don't know if that includes both. It didn't say if it includes both of them. It just said Brilliant Diamond. So I'm guessing it means just Brilliant Diamond by itself.
I doubt it would be just the one, because if it was, then it would probably be both. I think I don't know.
Might just been poor journalism.
Yeah.
But it said 9th highest selling game on the Switch. So pretty good year for Pokemon so far as finances go.
Nice.
But to get into the game and my pros and cons of it, I guess I'll start with the pros, just because we're already on a positive note. So my first one, and it's the big one, the new real-time catching mechanic. That's what has kind of reinvented it, more so I think than the open world design, because open world design was there in Sword and Shield. And I mean, technically, not every single Pokemon, but most Pokemons are, I guess you would consider open world games. But this one, even more than I'd say Sword and Shield, very much leans into you can go kind of anywhere, at least anywhere in the area that you're designated to go into. But the catching mechanic is a lot of fun. Makes catching Pokemon a lot easier, a lot less time consuming, and I really like it. I also like the stealth aspect from it. You can like sneak in the grass and sneak up from behind and catch one.
Yeah, I love playing Uncharted in Pokemon. I want you to think about this, Ryan. This wasn't the first game to do this style of catching. And I'm not talking about a spin-off. I'm talking in the main games. This Pokemon Legends Arceus is basically if you took the Safari Zone, added battling, and steroids. When you think about it, that's really all it is. But it's so fun.
Did you sneak around in the Safari Zone?
No, you couldn't sneak around, but it's just like that's all you did in the Safari Zone was walk around and just throw Pokeballs at things.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, yeah, definitely some major steroids, but yeah. I wonder how they came up with the idea of doing it that way. Pro number 2. a pretty large world.
Some could say it's huge.
Huge. It is a very large world. Now granted, it's split up into several different areas, but those areas, I'm very impressed with how big they are. It's not like Breath of the Wild where you can literally go anywhere at any time, but it's closer than Pokemon's ever been, and I was impressed with that. I was also impressed with the scale that they were able to bring out in it. There's one moment in particular that I had where I was trying to climb up this hill that was right next to the river, and across the river was this mountain, and I just got this view and like, wow, this is beautiful. And then I see Gyarados flying overhead. I was like, holy shit, I forgot that he's a flying Pokemon. And he's just flying above the mountain. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. So points for that. The scaling is phenomenal.
You know what they say, size does matter.
I guess it does. It really does. Pro number 3, this is one I just kind of, it's more so about concept, but interesting lore. I like that they went back in time with this, kind of giving a bit of an origin story with the world of Pokemon. I think it's just kind of fascinating, and it's interesting to discuss. The only sort of lore that we had before, obviously every Pokemon kind of brings its own lore in regards to like space and time and creation and all that stuff. It's nice to see it actually brought to a point in history that they could actually have records of, rather than just legends and stories. Including the beginning of the Pokedex.
Yeah, I feel like this was they had to go back in time to make this style of gameplay work, because if it was just like a normal Pokemon game where a Pokedex entry was caught by catching one Pokemon, this game would be so much shorter than it is. Like, on how long to beat, I believe the time to fully complete the game right now is roughly about 30 hours, which for a Pokemon game is kind of wild, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and that's my next pro, is the Pokedex system in this game is it's much larger, but it's also much, I would say, more fulfilling, because it gives you tasks to do to complete the Pokedex, not just catching them, but using a certain move that they use, or catching a certain amount, or defeating a certain amount. It really does make you more invested in not only catching Pokemon, but using them. There's several Pokemon I never would have really dreamed of using prior to this, like Badoo. But I use Badoo quite a bit.
One thing I'll add about the new Pokedex style is when a game introduces a new mechanic, be sure to pay attention throughout the tutorial, because so the way it works is like each Pokedex page has different tasks that you can complete. Catch the Pokemon, defeat them using this type of move, find one in the wild that uses a certain move, and each one has different increments. Like if you catch 5, you get a point. If you catch another 7 after that, you get another point. I did not realize that you didn't have to complete everything on the page to get the points. You just had to complete certain things to get 10 points total. 10, that's all you needed. Because I spent about an hour catching 30 Bidoofs just to realize that's not how that works. And yeah, I'm never gonna live that down. The guys were all there. This was live in Discord, and it was
magical. It was a magical moment. Rest assured, Cody will never live that down.
Oh, no.
He'll be 45 years old. I'll still be bringing up the Bidoofs. The 25 Bidoofs he caught when he didn't need to.
It was a time. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. Pay attention to new game mechanics tutorials.
Cody's pro tip of the day. And then the final pro that I kind of listed here, and I listed the pros and cons relatively quickly, but the boss battles I actually enjoy. I know you're not as far as I am, but there's one in particular. Actually, there's two in particular that get surprisingly intense. Because your character gets hurt when you're like facing Pokemon now. It's not just Pokemon versus Pokemon, it's really Pokemon versus you and your team.
It's a player versus environment game, which has never been a thing in Pokemon.
Exactly. And so you're in danger in it, and so the boss battles that you have, you're facing these gigantic, frenzied Pokemon, and they can do some serious damage to you. And there's a couple boss battles that I can recall. I don't want to say them here for spoilers, but they get pretty intense. And I was actually very impressed with that. I was not expecting it. And honestly, as far as Switch games go, I don't have that many Switch games, but aside from probably Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's probably some of the most intense moments I've had on the Switch so far. Next to that, and maybe like some matches in Smash, and some races in Mario Kart 2.
Yeah, it's definitely a gem, and I think it'll go down pretty well. I really hope they keep this Legends thing going and don't just make this a one-off.
Well, with how successful it's been, I'm convinced that they will not.
Oh yeah.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they incorporate this into the main series.
Yeah, and it'd be really cool to go back and explore some of the other regions, because there have been other regions like in Kalos. They have a lot of their story is based around like the origins of that region. So if you can go back and like experience that story, that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah. And that kind of makes up my pros. Do you have any other pros you wanted to put out there?
No, I'm not that far into the game, but of what I have played and all of the 25 Bidoofs that I've caught, I've enjoyed every moment of it. It's just so fun running around the world, seeing these Pokemon just waltzing around, enjoying themselves. It's been a very welcome experience to the Pokemon lineup of yore.
I would agree. And as I say that, I'm going into the cons, because I have noticed some things in the game that I think definitely need improvement. They probably won't be improved for this game, but in future games, this definitely I think needs to be improved on. First things first, the new turn-based combat system can sometimes be broken. The turn combat has also been kind of redone to where it's possible that you can have two moves in a row. Which is very different from past Pokemon games where it was you go, then they go, then you go, then they go. And the only thing that kind of made the difference on that was your Pokemon's speed, as far as who could go first. Now it's to the point where, I guess depending on how your stats are, you could get two turns in a row, or the opposing Pokemon can get two turns in a row. I will say it's kind of, sometimes it can be broken in that they never do a good job to explain like what exactly makes you go first or them go first. They say, I think from what I heard, it's speed and then your Pokemon's level, from what I understand. But there have been multiple times where I'm facing a very tough Pokemon and my guy will faint, and I'll send out my next Pokemon and I don't even get a chance. Like, he just gets one hit KO'd by the tough Pokemon I'm facing, and all I can do is just shrug and roll my eyes, and it does get kind of frustrating. So I would, you can keep the system, but I would say make it more well known, or make it easier to understand what exactly constitutes the new turn-based system, like what adds to it. I guess would kind of be the thing I have with that.
When I was playing through it, I was trying to figure out if it was some kind of, I was trying to figure out what it was too, because it almost feels more chaotic and archaic, which I kind of started thinking like, yeah, I guess if that's what they're trying to go for, like way back in the day before Pokemon battles were what they were, it may not have been as organized and well put together. I don't know if that's the intent of the lore. That was just my mind kind of just doing its ADHD thing, but yeah, it can be interesting at times.
I mean, just today when I was playing it, I was facing 3 Pokemon at the same time, and I don't know what constituted this, but each one of those 3 Pokemon got 2 turns in a row. So I literally got hit 6 times in a row before I could move again. I was like, what constitutes this? And that was kind of my point with it. I was just like, I don't know what constitutes this. I mean, I wasn't using like a weak Pokemon. My Pokemon had higher levels than all of them. So I don't know why exactly they got to move so many times before I did. It was a very frustrating moment. And it just sort of accentuates this main issue that I have with the game.
You saying that reminds me of another thing that it hasn't really been a problem to me, but like once or twice I've thought like, man, this would be nice, is if you could send out more Pokemon into a battle. Because
that's a good point.
There are sometimes where you, like, I got into a battle with 3 Scythers that were 5 levels above me, and they almost sweeped me. I somehow managed to pull through, but it was really tough just having one Pokemon out and only getting 1 move, and then getting bombarded by 3 moves.
It's basically eliminated double team battles, which is kind of disappointing, because I really enjoyed those in the older games. Not entirely sure why they got rid of those entirely. It just doesn't really make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense why I couldn't, throw out another Pokeball with my Pokemon in it. So that is something I didn't think about, but thank you for reminding me of it. And that would definitely go on my cons list, is that you can't use a second Pokemon. It's your 1 Pokemon versus 3 or 4, however many, and that can get frustrating. Also, as far as to kind of piggyback off of that, something else I noticed that was also frustrating when you're in those types of battles, or if you're fighting a trainer, for example, when you make an opposing Pokemon faint, you don't get XP from that. You don't get XP until the end of the whole battle. So if your Pokemon faints, it gets nothing, even if it took out a Pokemon earlier. Like, say you're facing 3, like a trainer with like 3 Pokemon, for example, and you have a guy out there and he KOs the first one, but then his next Pokemon KOs your starter, or the one that you started with. That Pokemon gets no XP.
Did it really only add the XP at the end of it? I never actually noticed that.
I noticed that. I noticed that a couple days ago. I was like, what? Why did my Quilava beat 4 of his Pokemon, but the final one KO'd me, so he gets nothing. That was another point. I was like, this is frustrating. I don't know why they got rid of this.
I have also only been in like 2 trainer battles, so that might be another reason why I haven't noticed.
So that's something I think should definitely be fixed in the future, is, give them the XP that they deserve. Is kind of where I'm going at from that angle. It also is interesting that for the most part, they've eliminated trainer battles in this game, which on one hand, given the story, it does make sense. Not a lot of people have Pokemon in the game. It's at a time where not everyone trusts Pokemon. Some people fear them. And there's like very few people who will actually try to catch and train them. So that part makes sense. I'm a fair bit into the game. I think I've had maybe at most 15 trainer battles at most, and probably isn't even that many.
Okay.
So I just thought that was very interesting. Now I think in the future, as I'm assuming the next Pokemon Legends game will be after this, will take place after Arceus. So I assume at that point there'll probably be more trainer battles in it, but I just thought that was an interesting take.
Yeah, it's a very welcome change for me, because my preferred playing style of Pokemon is build up a team that I want to stick with early on, train them hard to be like 10-15 levels above, and then just bullet through the gyms. So when I'm going between town and I'm like, all right, let's go get this next badge, and I have like 20 trainers that I see ahead of me, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I just want to get to the next point and keep going. But no, I have to tediously just sit here and one-hit each of their Pokemon and just take time and time. I'm like, let's keep this going. I always wish there was an option to turn off the trainer battles.
I can understand that on some levels. On one hand, I can understand it because it does add a bit of a grind factor to it. On the other hand, a lot of times if they're strong enough, it's some good experience for the Pokemon, and also they pay. You get money that way. Yeah. Now this one has replaced ways to make money, mainly space-time distortions, but it's not as, I would say, easy to make money in this game as it was in previous games.
What do you mean? You just catch stuff.
Oh yeah, you catch stuff. I mean, even that doesn't really. The way I've been able to get money the most by far is to find items in space-time distortions, that like comet shards and nuggets and stuff like that drop in there. You pick those up, they sell for like 10 to 20,000.
I haven't gotten into one of those things, so I didn't know really what's entailed in those. But
I highly recommend, because you get some really awesome.
One.
Oh, well, yeah, they spawn. They just spawn randomly.
I think I just got to the part where they start spawning.
Yeah, they spawn. It's unreliable in that they spawn randomly. You don't really have much control over it. I know that as soon as as I get the notification that one is forming, I beeline to there to try to get as much stuff as I can from it. And also, you can get some really good Pokemon in there, like Eevees.
Yeah.
That's where I have like 5 Eevees because of that. But I also have some. There's also some very tough Pokemon there. In early levels, you will get your ass kicked.
Nice.
But so yeah, economics. That's what we're about here. Next con, fast travel. I think the fast travel needs work. In the way that to me, it doesn't really make sense that I can't go from area to area. I have to go area back to village to another area.
Oh.
I don't understand. No, you can't. You have to go back to the village, and from the village you can go to a different area. I think that's kind of stupid, personally, especially since, you know, at a certain point it's obvious that you are the most capable Pokemon trainer in the region. And I was like, I can take care of myself. I don't need security to escort me to a new place or whatever reason they give for it. It doesn't make sense for me to have to go from say the Crimson Mirelands, and I can't go straight to the Obsidian Fields. I have to go to the village and then to the Obsidian Fields. It is a kind of minor thing because it's not like it takes a long time to do, but it is annoying.
See, I had only just gotten to the second new area, so I haven't had much travel between them. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing. You cannot go directly between them.
Okay. Fascinating.
At least, I'll put it this way, at least not yet. Like I said, I'm pretty far into the game. At the point that I'm at, I still can't do it. Maybe it'll come up in the future, but at the point I'm at, I still can't do it. Next con. Starts out very slow. And I told this to you during your stream when you first started. I jokingly called this game Tutorial the Game. Because for literally about the first 3 hours of it, it's almost entirely tutorial and cutscene. And it's incredibly slow out the gates, which I was not expecting and was kind of disappointed in. Now, once you get past the 3 hour mark, it really starts to open up, and it's a lot of fun. But there's so many new things in this game that they have to take so much time to sort of explain everything to you, and it's a lot to learn, as evidenced by Cody's Bidoof issue.
Yeah.
And it was just very slow at the gate. I originally intended to stream it from the beginning, but then I started playing. I was like, well, I'll play through the tutorial, and then the tutorial just kept going and going and going. I'm like, when's this stopping? And so, yeah, it starts out very slow for anyone who hasn't tried it yet. Just fair warning. And then the final one I had was the graphics. I wasn't very impressed with.
I think it's come to expect at this point that when Game Freak puts out a game, it's not gonna be top-notch quality.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't really want to put that out as an excuse. I think if you had, like, just picture for a second a high graphical quality Pokemon game, that would be incredible to see. To see all those creatures in this intense environment, spitting out hydro pumps and flamethrowers at each other. I think it'd be amazing. I think the potential for it is absurd, and it's disappointing that every year I just get the same kind of very cartoonish look. That, I mean, Breath of the Wild looked better, and that game's almost 5 years old by this point.
See, I must just be in a special category, because I'm one that really doesn't care about graphical fidelity all that much. Like, I still go back and play Heart Gold and Pokemon Yellow version, because I just love the core of Pokemon. I love the Pokemon.
Well, no, I'm not saying that the game's not fun. I'm not saying you can't have fun with that. There's plenty of retro style games nowadays that are like 64-bit games that are still super fun to play. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just getting at I want something that requires that's more. That is just, I think it would be an amazing experience for everybody. And it just kind of disappoints me that they don't do that.
See, what I was trying to explain was, me personally, I really don't give a damn. I just want a game that plays fun. I do like the art style of it. I don't really care that much that it's not the highest resolution. They put all their focus into the gameplay, and hopefully the future ones do look better. But in the end, I don't care. Like, I'm of the mindset where a few months ago when Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out, everyone's like, oh, these graphics are hideous. I don't understand how anyone's playing it. I fucking loved them. I was having so much fun running through that cutesy little game.
Well, yeah, and I had a lot of fun in it too. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just Spider-Man just kind of spoiled me.
Yeah,
it's sort of like that. It's for me. It's partially like that immersion factor. Like I will never forget the first time I played Spider-Man, and the first time I swung through that city, it was magical. It was a magical moment for me in video gaming, and maybe I just kind of want a moment like that in Pokemon where I have like a Charizard on my team going up against whatever, Steelix or something, and just like everything's going crazy. There's fire everywhere. It's all just in very, very well done graphics. That's kind of, and I know it's a Switch, so it's not super powerful. I don't know. I think there's potential there. There's a lot of potential for something great.
Yeah. I won't argue with you there.
Yeah. And that's kind of the end of my thoughts on Arceus at this point. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet. I haven't finished the story yet. Interested in seeing where that ends up. That is something I think Pokemon has kind of struggled with, is decent storytelling. Yeah. I mean, I know that's not the point of the game, but as someone who is a very narrative focused person, I do appreciate a solid story.
But I mean, when they make the games revolve around the story so much, it kind of can hurt it. Like in Sword and Shield, I really didn't care about the story. I absolutely hated my what was the kid's name that was your rival?
I don't remember.
I don't even remember because he's not that important.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of my. But that was a bad story. I wasn't impressed with that story either. But when it's like a really good, really engaging story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Again, going back to Spider-Man. Spider-Man had one of the best stories in video games in modern video games. I thought, anyways. And
cried at the end.
Exactly. You know, a good story like that just makes you feel something. I've never felt that from a Pokemon game. I've never felt many like emotions other than joy at completing it.
I mean, that's because the like when we're comparing it to Spider-Man, that is like a very character-driven game. Like Pokemon is like, oh, there's an evil team that's stealing Pokemon and trying to destroy the world. You need to stop them. There's only so many ways you can spin that and make it good.
It is a bit played out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they should hire one of the writers from Insomniac to write the next Pokemon game and see what happens.
You should go put in an application to Game Freak. Be a writer.
Maybe I should. Sure, I'll move to Tokyo. Why not?
Hell yeah, brother.
And that's, like I said, that's kind of everything I have, the thoughts I have on the game at this point. But overall, like, I know I kind of bagged on it at the end. I want to be clear that I am very much enjoying this game. I wouldn't have put in as many hours as I have if I didn't. I'm not a grinder. I don't enjoy, at least to some extent, I don't enjoy grinding in video games. While there is some grinding aspects to this game and most Pokemon games in general, it's not that big of a deal for me. I still very much enjoy it. So I want that to be clear.
See, again, here's somewhere where we differ. I like grinding games, and that aside, I still have loved the time that I've been able to put into this game, and I'm so excited to keep playing it.
Well, that's why I'm not big into Minecraft. Because Minecraft is like one of the ultimate grind games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's my favorite.
Like all the hours you have to spend just gathering materials. Like,
bro, that's my favorite thing about Minecraft is taking a squad and setting up camp down in a cave and just digging for a few days.
Yeah, I've come to understand that people have different tastes.
Me and Ryan being the best friends that we are is the ultimate proof that opposites attract.
Oh yeah, I mean, shit. Let's not even get started on Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah, that's another podcast on its own. But
that we literally could fill up an entire podcast with our thoughts on that game, but we're not going to do it here. Instead, we're going to move on to some of the news of the week to kind of piggyback off of what we were already talking about. The Nintendo Switch is now the third highest selling game console of all time, which is an enormous feat. It is now currently at 103.54 million units sold. It had just beaten out the Nintendo Wii, making it Nintendo's highest selling console ever.
I know this stuff, but I'm struggling to think of what the second one is behind it, because I know the PlayStation, at least for home console, the PlayStation 2 is the top selling one at 151 million.
Yeah, so I have the numbers here.
Okay.
Or I have the answer that you're looking for.
before you continue on, are you talking all consoles in general, or?
This is not including handheld devices. This is just game home consoles.
Okay.
As far as, well, even compared to that, the PlayStation 2 is the highest selling gaming device of all time.
I thought the DS has 154.
Well, PS2 has 155.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 151. Numbers.
Yeah, so
up, whatever.
The PS2 had sold 155 million units. The Nintendo DS is at 154. Like, it's right there. It was so close, but everyone loved the PS2. And then second place for home console is the PlayStation 4, which is currently at 116.6 million units, and still selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Thanks to the PS5 being completely sold out. I think it'll be interesting to see if the Switch can outpace the PS4 and become second all time. I don't think it'll be able to beat the PS2. That's just what I think. I don't know what you think about that.
See, I think there's a chance.
I mean, there's always an outside chance.
Because right now we are just about 5 years into the lifespan of the Switch. It came out in 2017. It's almost March of 2022. Late last year, someone from Nintendo, I don't remember who exactly, but they said we are about halfway through the Switch's life cycle. So that means we have another 4 to 5 years to look forward to the Switch being sold. Now, granted, we have to take into account what's going on with chip shortage and stuff that we talked about last week. But the Switch, I believe if they do get all of the chip stuff sorted out, it could easily come up on the best one. If not, blow out the PS2 and DS. That's my hopes and beliefs.
I don't think it'll be a blowout. If they do it, it'll be crawling its way to victory.
By blowout, I meant just barely beating them. But
yeah, well, and here's kind of the X factor with all this is the pandemic. Pandemic has been, up until this point, has been a complete boon for the Nintendo Switch, because as soon as the pandemic happened, sales for that thing skyrocketed because everyone wanted a Switch when everyone went into quarantine, myself included.
Well, that was also the perfect storm of Animal Crossing launching right then. So
yeah, that too. That 1-2 hit combo just really sent up sales for it. And I think that really does. I think that's the big reason why you're seeing it at the sales mark that it is now. I don't know if it has the momentum to keep at that pace in the future now that the pandemic is mitigated, I'll say. I won't say it's over. I'll say it's much more mitigated than it was back in May of 2020. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I'm sure within the next probably 2 years we'll see a Nintendo Switch Pro that a lot of people will probably jump to if it has high enough technological advancements compared to the original Switch. And that, I think, will definitely help it. But I don't know. It's just kind of tough to say, really, at this point.
Here's an idea for you. If COVID never happened and Animal Crossing just launched at the time it did, do you think it would have had the momentum and hype that it did behind it when it launched? And B, where do you think sales would be at for the Switch?
No, it wouldn't. I think everyone having to go back inside in quarantine and everyone's looking for something to do, I think that absolutely helped it. And then also at that time, Twitch blew up as well because more people were watching Twitch, and a lot of the streamers hopped onto New Horizons at that time too because it was the most trendy game because it just come out. It was literally, I think, a lightning in a bottle type moment for that game and for the Switch. So no, I don't think it would have the same momentum. I still think it would have done well, but certainly not to the degree that it did. And in answer to B, I mean, that's kind of tough to say, really, only because I don't know what the sales figures were before the pandemic. If I had known that, I might be able to gauge it better. I mean, fair. I'm guessing somewhere in the realm of probably 60 to 80 million units would be my guess, but I don't know that for sure.
Fair.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably right around there. It wouldn't have, Animal Crossing definitely wouldn't have blown up. I still would have gotten it because it's the kind of like little grindy building games that I like. I probably would have played the shit out of it for about 2 or 3 weeks and then dropped it.
Yeah. I still would have gotten it too because I just like Animal Crossing. But yeah, it definitely wouldn't have had the same impact that it did. I would kind of put money on that.
Well, fun.
Yeah. And then also in this article, I found the 3 highest selling Nintendo Switch games. Do you want to guess at what they are?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Smash, and probably Animal Crossing would have to be up there.
You were exactly correct. It was those 3 games. It wasn't in that order. So at third place was Smash with 27.4 million copies. These are physical copies, by the way. These are not digital. New Horizons is second at 37.62 million physical copies. And Mario Kart 8 comes in first place at 43.35 million units.
That was the surefire one I knew would be on there, because every few months, whenever the NPR comes out and is giving the sales total for like top selling games, Mario Kart 8 is always within the top 3 or 4 every freaking month. Somehow that is the most evergreen title that has ever come out, and it is fucking wild.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you can kind of maybe call it like the ultimate party game. You know, it's incredibly easy to learn. It's very family friendly. I mean, it just kind of hits all the marks that you'd want for a party game, I think.
If that's the ultimate party game, is that why the last 2 Mario parties had flopped?
Probably. I don't know. I like Mario Party. I think that's the biggest difference. Mario Party, it requires you to play with other people kind of for it to be enjoyable. You can still play it on your own, but I think it's boring much quicker. Mario Kart, I'm able to play on my own as a racing game and still have enjoyment with it. Now, it's a lot more fun when I'm playing with you and Dustin. or much more infuriating.
Like the last time we played on stream when you were about to cross the line and you got tagged with my red and green shell and I passed you.
Exactly like that.
You can go check out that clip on my Instagram. That's funny. He got very mad.
Oh, shameless plug. But yes, I did get very mad. My point being, I can still find enjoyment in it with or without other people. So I think that's why this was more successful than Mario Party. This next thing I want to talk about is Sony buying Bungie for $3.6 billion, which is a lot of money, but these giant corporations just a drop in the bucket.
I mean, it ain't no 68 billion for Activision, but you know, it's definitely something.
Yeah, it's not shocking at all that Sony went and did this. I just thought that there was a different $3 billion company that they should have bought, as opposed to Bungie.
Before you go into that, let's go into the Bungie a little bit. Pardon my ignorance. Do you know any of the other IPs other than Destiny that Bungie has? Because I have no clue.
Off the top of my head, no, but I know that Destiny 2 is far and away their most successful one. I know that they were a part of the original Halo. After doing a quick search, it is only pretty much Destiny and Halo. So
that's wild.
They basically bought Destiny 2 for $3.6 billion.
That's wild.
Now, granted, it's also whatever games they make in the future. I don't know what plans they have.
Destiny 3.
Probably. Now, there was a reason that they bought Bungie. It was live service video gaming. Sony wanted to get in on that market. They don't really have that at the moment. They don't have a game that's really in that style of live service.
I think there's been some murmuring about some like live service Last of Us multiplayer thing that's supposed to happen, but that's been for like the last 4 years or something. I think that came out before they started talking about Last of Us Part 2, so take
that's
that
true.
For what you will.
And also that would be a PlayStation exclusive, I imagine.
Obviously.
Destiny 2 is still planning to be everywhere. As far as I understand it, Bungie is not losing any of its creative independence. As far as I can tell, the only thing that really changed is that Sony now gets profits from it.
That's smart.
Which is smart. No, that's entirely why they did this. They're trying to grow their profit margins with the live service video game, which they did not have before. Now they have that. And along with whatever live service game Bungie puts out in the future, like Destiny 3, or if they come up with another IP, then Sony will get profits from that. It's a smart move. I just think there was a better $3 billion company to go for as opposed to Bungie. And that answer, and I don't know how likely this would have been, that answer is Valve. Valve is valued at about the same amount of money, and I think that would have been a better investment strictly because of Steam. Because that would basically give you, control of the biggest gaming distributor on the internet.
Is Valve really only at 3 billion?
Yeah.
I feel like they would have been like 6, 7, 8 at this point.
I know, I expected them to be a lot more too, but I looked it up the other day and I was like, oh shit. And I guess per person, they are the highest grossing company in America. Like, they don't have a lot of employees compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I think they're only like the 10s, maybe 20s.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So, per person, they're the highest grossing company in the country. Which is another reason they make a lot of money considering they don't have a lot of expenses, it appears to be. So I thought that would have been a better move for them, and they can still do it. They can still spend another $3 billion to buy Valve, and I think that would be a better. If they're trying to compete with Microsoft, I think that would be a better investment overall because Steam is just such a recognizable brand and a necessity almost at this point for gaming on the PC that I think it would just been really good for them. They also could have found a way to incorporate it seamlessly into a PlayStation.
See, I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking, what if they did that and then all PlayStation exclusives come on to Steam?
And they could do that.
That's opening up an entire new market for them. That would be fucking wild.
Yeah, now, well, you're already starting to see PlayStation exclusives going on Steam. I think some other ones as well. Like God of War recently was released on Steam and Epic. I think there's some other PlayStation exclusives that have gone on there too.
I think Horizon is either in the works or already.
Yeah, I believe it's already. I think it's already on there.
I don't remember.
I think that would have been a good pickup for them, and they could still obviously do it. I think it'd be smart of them to do it. If for anything, I feel like Steam is like a major money machine. That's kind of everything I had on that one. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't remember where it was that I saw it, but I saw an article where Jim Ryan was being interviewed, and they were talking about, it was right after this acquisition, and they were talking about how this was in the works for the last 5 or 6 months. So this wasn't just like an immediate jump on the gun response to Xbox buying up Activision about 3 weeks ago. And he also said in that interview that PlayStation is looking at doing a few more acquisitions this year. So you kind of said one that you were talking about with Valve potentially, or hopefully, but what are some other ones you think they could grab up? Because I couldn't think of any that would be too crazy for them.
I mean, I would have to kind of think about companies that are within their price range.
That's
obviously, true. Electronic Arts is out of their budget. So it just kind of, I would have to take more looks into what's available. Do they own Insomniac?
I think they bought them out a few years ago.
Okay, so that's off the table. They did buy Naughty Dog. Mm-hmm. Maybe Obsidian? Is it Obsidian Entertainment, maybe?
They're Xbox.
Oh, they are? Okay, forget that then.
Yeah, they got swallowed up a little while ago.
God, just little by little, the video game industry is just becoming more and more centralized.
You know what we need to do one day is kind of like a tier list thing, but all the game developers, and just drag them into whatever company owns them now, and see how that turns out.
Oh, instead of like S tier, it's S tier, A tier. It's like Xbox tier, PlayStation or Sony tier or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of funny. And they got Nintendo, which is just doing their own thing over there.
Yeah.
You think Nintendo would ever buy one of these companies?
They bought I can't remember the name of them, but whoever it was that developed the newest Luigi's Mansion game, like not long after that game launched and kind of blew up after.
Oh, that wasn't made by Nintendo?
It might have been just before or just after that game launched, but they acquired the studio that did that game. Or I might just be completely talking out of my ass. I don't remember.
Well, I was talking more so like a video game company that has popular IPs.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're doing really well now. I don't really know if they have to, especially since they're able to still get licenses for Smash.
Nintendo does some weird ass stuff that we never expect. Watch them just like one day scoop up like EA or Rockstar. Like, just
That's
out of the
lot,
blue.
That's a lot of money.
I know,
I mean,
but just out of the blue, just like, we're doing this. Why not? What the fuck, Nintendo? I feel like that's something.
Well, they don't have the money to do it though.
Yeah, if they do acquire something, it's gonna be one that doesn't make sense, probably.
Yeah.
Knowing
How much
Nintendo.
is Rockstar's value? Nintendo is currently valued at $61 billion.
Okay.
Oh shit! Rockstar's only 3.5 billion. Bro, Sony could pick them up. GTA becomes a PlayStation exclusive. That would be a fucking slap in the face to Microsoft.
Oof.
Bro, that would be crazy if they did that.
I think that would be the way to counter fucking Activision being Xbox exclusive, having GTA 6 only on PS5.
That would be crazy. That would be a crazy move. I'm so shocked that it's that low.
GTA 6
for sure
with
it would have been
online
much more than
2,
that.
PS5 exclusive.
Bro, that'd be nuts.
Or even better, Switch exclusive.
Okay, bro, let's not fucking go there, okay? I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. At the same time, I don't really like the idea of like these giant companies just swallowing up these smaller companies. But I guess it's only a matter of time of it happening, and just kind of interesting to see where the cards will fall with it.
Yeah.
And that moves us on to our final talking point of the episode, with a new segment I'm calling "So That Happened." I found this pretty interesting article, and I thought it'd be interesting to start a new series on it, where each episode I find a pretty out there story and share it with you and see how it goes. The first one from CNET, in their tech section for some reason, Build-A-Bear just launched an After Dark series of horny teddy bears. That is the article headline. Basically what this is stuffed animals for adults. I know you might get the wrong idea with that, kind of, especially calling it After Dark, but it's capitalizing on Valentine's Day, and it's not like explicit, not safe for work type stuffed animals, despite what
they're just bears.
Despite what
lingerie?
The implication is. No, there's no lingerie. There is a very interesting picture of a stuffed lion in a Hugh Hefner robe, like laying on a bed very seductively next to 2 glasses of wine. All this is heavily implied. It is kind of strange to think about that lion is horny.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Build-A-Bear, which is aimed, at least until now, aimed strictly at kids under the age of 10.
Yeah. See, I the first thing when I saw that, like, my brain saw that and remembered that last year they put out a thing of the Animal Crossing Build-A-Bears. And so my mind immediately went, some sick fuck is gonna go put Isabelle in a lingerie and shit. And I'm like, oh Build-A-Bear, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, as I said, there's no lingerie, at least not that I can see on their website. It's basically just like, I mean, there's a lot of alcohol references in it. Like, one, there's this picture of a bunny in high heels with a shirt that says "Rosé over roses," and it's holding a bottle and a glass of rosé. So it's very much tongue-in-cheek, PG-rated innuendo type stuff, but the implication is just kind of weird, and not something I would have expected Build-A-Bear to do.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like, if this actually does well. Like, if people actually buy these things. Because if they buy them, they're gonna keep doing them.
Oh god.
I don't know, would you buy a seductive lion?
Dude, honestly, I didn't even know Build-A-Bear was still around. For some reason, I thought they closed some time ago. I didn't know that was still a thing.
Maybe they did, and this is just their comeback. I don't know. I've only ever been in Build-A-Bear one time, and I was 6 years old, and it was for a birthday party.
I don't think I've ever been to one.
It's an interesting experience, especially if you're a kid, because you basically, like, it takes you through, like, the different step process of creating your own stuffed animal. From what I remember, anyways, I thought it was just a very interesting experience. I thought it was weird to have a birthday party there, but that's what we did when I was 6 years old, apparently.
Fun.
Yeah. And that is everything we have to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Find this podcast on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, RJFoxtrot. You can also find it on Spotify by looking up Slightly Amusing. You You can also find me on Twitch under RJFoxtrot. You can also find Cody on Twitch under Buglies. And then Buglies also has a YouTube channel where he posts once a week. Just gaming videos, gaming content for your enjoyment. I'm sometimes in them. I'm sometimes not. Those are the weeks I don't watch. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, that hurt my feelings. That's a way to end this.
It's also completely joking.
I know.
I'm pretty sure I'm always the first one to leave a like on your videos.
It's a toss-up between you and Dustin, usually.
Yeah. But he really does have some good videos. I recommend checking them out.
Well, thanks, bud.
No problem. And I guess, you got anything else to say, Cody?
No.
Alright then. Well, as I said, my name's Ryan. That's Cody. We hope you've been slightly amused. And we will see y'all next time. Have a good one.